Once upon a time, you could easily argue that Capcom was the best game developer on the planet Earth. Today, they seem mostly dedicated to making everyone forget that was ever the case, but it wasn't too long ago if you saw the Capcom logo, you knew you were about to play at least a good game, and maybe even a classic. In its heyday, Capcom franchises were the gold standard for platformers, 2D fighters, survival horror, and arcade hits of all variety. And the only thing harder than watching the present-day Capcom piss all that away is getting their best down to a single list. I'm the Game OverThinker, and these are the top 10 best Capcom games. Number 10, Strider. Even in an era as bizarre as the arcades of the mid-1980s, Strider's Russian-inspired cyborg ninja hack-and-slash action stood out, but it was the blistering gameplay, killer music, and screen-filling attacks that had them coming back for more. In the most unique and unusual era of gaming, Strider stuck out and is deservedly remembered to this day. Number 9, Darkstalkers. Could even Capcom top the 2D fighter perfection of Street Fighter II? Maybe not, but that doesn't mean Darkstalkers wasn't one hell of a try. Featuring a familiar yet original control scheme, the real star of Darkstalkers is a character lineup that expanded the scope of what a fighter could be by eschewing the martial arts aesthetic entirely in favor of a roster of classic monsters and mythological creatures reimagined manga style, giving fans unforgettable new characters who've become some of the most iconic in the developer's history. And when you consider what Capcom has produced over the years, that is no small feat. Number 8, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. The sequel to the arcade classic, the third game sequentially in the venerable Ghosts and Goblins franchise, if you're keeping track, will kick your ass hard. It is brutally difficult, unrelentingly punishing, requires absolute precision, and when you think you've won, it makes you start all over again and gets even harder. Why do we keep coming back to it? Because it's tough while also being fair, and the unique visual aesthetic and unforgettable music have made having to spend hours getting it exactly right a void worth vanishing into. Most of the time. Number 7, Demon's Crest. Speaking of Ghosts and Goblins, Firebrand was one of the most pain-in-the-nuts enemies in that classic series, and this spin-off gave you the chance to use his power for yourself. One of the most gorgeous-looking games on the Super NES, Demon's Crest plunged players into a glorious new world of unforgettable characters and inventive gameplay that's often imitated but never duplicated. Not just a terrific action game, but a genuine work of gaming art. Number 6, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. X-Men vs. Street Fighter blew our minds just by existing. The first Marvel vs. Capcom blew them all over again, but it was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that set the standard by which all other crossover fighters would forever be judged. What a roster! What balance! What an unforgettably unique atmosphere, mixing comics and games, east and west, into something wholly new that took you for a ride that some dedicated players have stayed on forever. Number 5, Resident Evil 4. To hear some tell it, all Resident Evil 4 would have had to do to stand out was be a successful M-rated exclusive on the GameCube. Instead, it delivered what's probably still the high watermark for the entire Resident Evil franchise, even if I, like many, have a soft spot for Code Veronica. All the best parts of a Resident Evil game, but this time with atmosphere to spare, and play control that felt as close to natural as the series has ever produced before or since. It's still the best entry in one of gaming's most iconic series. Number 4, Mega Man X. Let's face it, Mega Man's leap into 16 bits just didn't end up producing as flawless a series as the 6 NES games did, but the original Mega Man X is a landmark for a reason. Capcom had to deliver an experience that satisfied fans of the classic series and pointed the way to the future, and they did so in the form of a platformer that brought the very best of Mega Man in an exciting new dimension. It's brilliant, it's beautiful, and if only for a moment, it let us all feel like Mega Man would be with us for a long, long time. Number 3, Street Fighter 2. Where were you the first time you played Street Fighter 2? Where were you the first time you saw a game that cut out all the bullshit and let you jump right into the one-on-one fight between some of the most colorful characters ever conceived in gaming? Where were you the first time you saw the Hadouken, the Tiger Uppercut, Guile's hair, or Chun-Li's thighs? Street Fighter 2 is one of the most important games ever developed, changing the face of arcades and rebuilding an entire genre in its image. Can you imagine a gaming world where it never existed? Would you even want to? Number 2, DuckTales. There's an argument to be made for DuckTales on the NES as the best licensed game of the era. It's a straight-up classic with amazing gameplay that really captured the spirit of the classic cartoon and the classic Carl Barks comic books that inspired it. In an era when far more prominent licenses became disposable shovelware, Capcom took a Disney afternoon mainstay and turned it into one of the best platformers on the NES and a beloved staple of too many childhoods to count, complete with bosses that challenge to this day and a soundtrack we will never stop humming. Number 1, Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is where Mega Man fully figured out how to be Mega Man, the sequel to a solid but not spectacularly received original made as a labor of love by the designers that so perfectly delivered on its unique use of power-swapping mechanics, non-linear level progression, and a wonderfully absurdist cartoon robot visual sensibility so as to spawn a franchise that endures to this day, sort of. Its hero, with his chubby robo-cherub design, blinking eyes, felt more human than any game hero had since Miss Pac-Man. His enemies had personality even as they made us hate them. How great did you feel the first time you realized which weapon would defeat the boss you'd been struggling with? How scared were you when the dragon or the Gutsdozer first burst onto the screen? Those feelings are burned into the psyche of a generation and carried over to everyone who's ever played a Mega Man game since, and that's why Mega Man 2 is the best Capcom game ever. And that's the list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell us about it in the comments and suggest other lists you might like to see. Remember to like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and please consider donating to the moviebob Patreon to support this and other series like it. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is moviebob, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MovieBob reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MovieBob Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MovieBob products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MovieBob production.